here. Okay, so we're going to review the identity deck template, how to start that, how to access the font, which is Secular 1, and what to do with that. Raise your hand if you've already opened up the file. Did you all do that already? Okay, so a couple of you have done that. There's a couple of error messages that come up that I want to share with you and get you all ready. Is there anyone that still needs to download Adobe Animate? Please do that. Raise your hand if you haven't downloaded it yet. You would go up to your Creative Cloud, which is the infinity symbol, and go and download Adobe Animate. I'd like for us to open Animate right now if you haven't had it open yet, because we're going to work together. Please open up. I have the Adobe Animate version 2021. If you haven't updated yours yet, it will be fine. It will be the same. Does anyone have something other than Adobe 2021? Raise your hand. Let me know what you have. Maybe do you have 2020 or anybody in CS5 or something older?
I've got 2020.
Okay, Dan, there shouldn't be any real difference there, especially for what we're doing with imaging. But you might want to update at some point just so that if there's something that's a little bit different in my demos, then you'll be able to see that. The demos that I have are likely going to be in the 2020 version. So, okay. So am I sharing my screen yet with you? I don't think so. So let me do that. I think I'll share the entire screen so you can see the error messages too. So do you see my Animate? It's gray and okay. So I just opened up the file. Did you all see where to open up the file and where to get it? It's in the technical page. Let me just jump over there, bring this over here too. So the technical page tells you where to get all of the stuff. The identity deck template, that's for the sketch template. We're looking for this file, the identity deck template.fla. That's a Flash file, Animate file. This is essentially what that template runs. It has an image for each one. What I'm going to go over right now is this need for this font and to help you to understand how to get fonts from Google. So I'm going to put that here. When I opened up the file, I got this error message. So this is the font. This is the only font that we actually use, and this is Secular 1. It's a Google font. These other ones, Times New Roman, I don't know why my computer doesn't have it, and Josephine Sans is not something that we use anyways. So now I'm going to show you. Let me find my Google and bring it over here. Do you all see the Google fonts now? Okay, so what I did was I went to Google Fonts and then I did a search because otherwise if you just are at Google Fonts, you'll see a lot of different options. And because we know that this team is using Secular 1, you can type it in, Secular, and it actually just comes up kind of right away. The reason why I selected this font when I designed the cards was because it had a really nice chunky letter that was very square-like. That's the reason why I selected it. This is a new computer for me, so I need to download the family. So sometimes there's regular and there's sans serif and extra bold and bold and all kinds of stuff like that. And you'd have to check which one. So I'm going to select this style right here and then download the family. You can see that it's downloading. With a Google font on a PC, I'm getting a zip file. You might, I'm going to show it in the folder, and then I'm going to put it into the file folder that I'm putting the work for this project. So I'm moving it to DM2, and now I'm going to see where it is. So I want you all to have this font and have it be available to you inside of a folder that makes sense for you. On my PC, I would have to click Extract All. On a Mac, you you would just double click it and it will do what it needs to do. I need to click that. Maybe I'm getting some error messages on some other screen. So I'm saying extract it. And now it will give me these. TTF is a version of a font. There's all kinds of different versions of fonts. True type font is what that stands for. Let's see if I have my font pulled out now. Secular 1. There it lives. Okay, so now that I have this font, I can get rid of this zip. You don't have to keep extra zips around that contain the compressed files. So with this, what I want to just do is double click it and install. And that will install it on my machine, and then I'll have the correct like Q or K or whatever it is that you need. Now, all of you are actually doing the back, mostly, right? Except for, is it Elliot, you're doing the other part. So if you had, so this is actually not necessary for all of you, really, but it's just an intro to how to install those kinds of fonts into the Adobe. I'm going to cancel this and let's see, because I should now have Secular 1 available. So I've just opened it up. I'm going to zoom out to see if, see, this font is not Secular 1. I can tell it is not. So I'm going to go to the properties and check and see if, well, I'm going to highlight it. So I'm actually inside of what we call a symbol, and these are all different things here. And this is listing them as Times New Romans, and I really want this to be secular. So I'm going to double click that, and you can see it's changed it. But all of those are a little bit off. So I think the best way for me to do this, because you can see that it's not brought it into everything, the best way for me to do this is close it and not save it and then bring it back in. So I'm going to close this file by hitting this X. Don't save. And now I'm going to open it up again. So this is it sitting here in my recent, and you can see Secular 1 is not being asked for now. So everything should be popped in there. So I'm going to hit OK. And now when we go up to here, you'll see that that A is functioning. And if I scroll my timeline, because Animate has timelines, all of those are the nice chunky ones. So we're pretty good there. I am having an issue with the, this should be like a spade or something like that. Yeah, it is spades. So if you are also having issues with those like spades, diamonds, or something like that, I'll have to get you those. I might have to find them. I know that like Dan, you're using the spades and diamonds. Did you have access to those in your image?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so if you have issues, please let me know and I'll help you to find them for everyone. So in the demo that I gave you, that I asked for you to review, I don't know if people were able to get through this. This video describes how to start with Animate, get the Animate file template in there, and then the next thing that I'm asking you to do, and you might not have been able to look at all of these. So this video that I'm going to help you with right now is going to take us a little bit further. This is importing from PSD and doing a carve drawing. But what I want to show you is how to use the pencil tool today in this demo that I'm going to do with you in person. Okay, so those are the videos that we're following for before next class, which include up to these. So it's basics in Animate, how to import, and starting with Animate. This is an additional help. So let's say, let's see, zoom, and then hold down Alt. Did everybody open up the file yet? Can you raise your hand if you did not open the file? Raise your hand if you did not open the file. Okay. Sean, do you work better like working when you're working with me one-on-one on this kind of thing as we work together to do the thing, or do you like to watch a video and then go step by step and work at your own pace? What's your preferred preference of learning?
You know, step by step's fine. I can follow it. I'm familiar with the Animate, but I'll have to watch the videos and then go through it step by step. I was actually redrawing, so I haven't done
You're
any of
still
the
redrawing?
importing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to take a while.
Okay. Let's do this with my demo then today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in an image. So this will, my demo, my previous videos show you how to find your location and then put your piece there. I'm going to close history because I don't need it. And I'm going to go to the back. So just as a quick review of how this functions, the back here, this does have the same. You know how previously Sean, can you put yourself on mute for a second? Thank you. You know how these other ones have this gray that covers the suit. Everyone that's working on a back doesn't have that, so you will be putting it here. The section that says art goes here, that is where I want you to click. And if you all want to open up your file and work with me, you can probably do this right now, except for Sean, who doesn't have it open. Do the rest of you have your file open and are ready to kind of work within Animate? Raise your hand if you're going to follow with me. Okay, the rest of you, you can watch the video that I'm going to hopefully record, and I see that I'm recording. Okay, so this section that says art goes here, I'm going to click here, and then if you are using your pen with a stylus, or if you are just using your trackpad, I'm going to work with you either way. Oh no, I need to get my pen is not working because I'm not calibrating. So I'm going to pause my recording. Okay, so in this section that says art goes here, this is where I'm going to do my drawing. Also, other places to recognize, just to get familiar with where everything is. Art goes here is kind of the very first of the layers. Now you may want to make a few other layers. I'm going to click on this plus and have one of them be called sketch. And that's where I would import my sketch file. I'm going to also make another layer that's called, so I hit the plus button, and I'm going to add another one that is called line drawing start. Now, when we work, we're actually going to work with line and color all together, and I'll show you how that functions. All of this in this art goes here. This could become a folder. To do that, you would shift click through all of it. And I'm using my pen. This is a Cintiq that I'm using, and the right click pen will bring up things to it, or I'll hit Control or Command on top of these layers. So I'm going to right click. That brings up this stuff. Merge layers, convert layers to a symbol. That's not really what I want. So really what I want is just a new layer. And then I'm going to new folder, which I got up here. And then I'm going to shift click through these and put them into that. And then this is going to be called my art. Okay. So please do that if you are working right along with me. Any questions yet? Okay, so then the next introduction that I want to do for you is if I'm working on this back section, we're working in a timeline. So this timeline here, you can see these mountains. There's smaller mountains and bigger mountains. That's kind of spreads it all out. That helps me to be able to see where I am in time. Now, if you're new to a timeline, the timeline is very similar to what we do with layers in Photoshop. Layers are stacked on top of each other. Timeline just goes the opposite way. If we think about dimensions, it goes horizontal in its layer structure. So that's why I'm able to kind of show different things as I move and scrub the timeline. That's scrubbing the timeline. I'm doing that with this blue piece up at the top. So I'm going to click where I want to put my sketch and where I want to put my line drawing start. I'm actually going to shift click through all three of these. So by shift clicking, it selects all three of those layers in that point in time. That point in time, because I'm only selecting these three little boxes so far. And I'm going to go to Insert, Timeline, Keyframe. So let's talk about that. There's frames, there's keyframes, and there's blank keyframes. Actually, I want this to be a blank keyframe. A blank keyframe, you can see what it did was it popped these gray things in front of there, and then it's got these circles. So I inserted blank keyframes on those three things. You can do them individually. You can click and then insert blank keyframe, click and then insert blank keyframe. A blank keyframe is like a white piece of paper. Nothing's in it, but it's ready to be drawn on, okay? If I inserted a keyframe, the keyframe would move down the timeline. So let's do that so that we can see what that looks like. I'm going to actually click it right here and then I'm going to undo, because what that will do is it will mess up our timeline if we do it for what we're doing right now. So I'll show you that. I'm going to right click on my pen or Control or Command click, insert keyframe. Now watch this little thing. It's going to move this black thing over. Or not. I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. This is actually correct too. Inserting the keyframe is correct. Insert frame is what would jump it over. So we want to stay away from that. So I'm going to Command Z that, or Control Z, depending on where I'm at. And I just want to remember that I'm on this back section, that's where I want to be. Most of you are working on the back, except for Elliot. Elliot, we still have to work together to create a template for you. So remind me at some point to set you up with that. So for the sketch, I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go to File, Import, Import to Stage. And there is another video that goes over this. So I'll let you follow that or this one. I'm going to go to DM2 and to, I don't know if I even have my sketch in here. Identity deck. Dang it. Maybe I'll pull in someone else's. Bear with me while I go get